I'm curious about those conversations with faculty members when you start to bring students into those meetings. Is everybody as accepted and as accepting and as passionate about it as you, or are there a variety of opinions and a variety of views with that?
Largely as accepting, yes. In the first on the first occasion, I suspect I probably did this intentionally. But the deputy head was there. He was actually, I think, the acting head at the time, because I think the head was on sabbatical, and I hadn't told him I was doing this. And so he came in and he did a double take. What are students doing in this sacred adult environment? But I just continued with it. 99% of the feedback after the first meeting was that was really powerful. The conversation was exceptional, and it became part of the culture over time. One of the interesting things was that the students who volunteered into the think tank at the time were not necessarily the top academic students. There were some really weak students. So when it came their turn to come with the heads of department were thinking, what's that particular student doing here? But then they all told me how they had to catch themselves about thinking, hang on, he's got as much right to be here as anyone else. And we had one student, developmentally delayed, who was asked about practices that he found really helpful. And he said, I think we should play more games. And for him, that was absolutely crucial.
I love that. I read, and I'm going to butcher this quote, but one of my amazing previous guests said that teaching is the only environment, and once again, I'm going to butcher this, where we don't ask the clients what they want, and the students are our clients. I mean, in any other industry, albeit carpentry or the automotive industry, we ask people what they want. We do surveys and we do market research, but for some reason, when it comes to school, we don't do that. And it made me really think about the importance of feedback and asking students what's important to them. And Cameron, you've mentioned a number of times outdoor education and your passion for getting kids engaged in the outdoors. Why has that been so important to you? Because I can imagine many people wouldn't be taking students to Vietnam in the school holidays, but why is that important to you to approach learning from that point of view?
Yeah, that was a while ago now. I think when I went back to my own experience as a young person, I saw the independence and the agency that I was given with those sorts of opportunities. And you can see how much young people grow when they're given that sort of responsibility.
Yeah.
So when you put 8 kids in a group and say, we'll see you at this location where you can set up camp in 5 hours' time, there's a radio, you're in charge, off you go. And actually at times to see them miss important navigational turn-offs and for us to let them make those mistakes in a safe, contained way. We're so quick in school to rescue kids when they make mistakes. And I think in those outdoor education environments, there's really good opportunities to allow kids to learn. In a safe way, not in a silly way, in a protected environment, but they grow up pretty quickly and they learn to look after each other as well.
I was having a conversation with a class in the last week of school, and James Nottingham's Learning Pit research came up, and he's someone who has been very kind and been on the podcast, and we talk a lot in my classrooms about the brain sweats. And so when you're at the bottom of the pit, what do you do? And instead of giving up, going, okay, even though I'm feeling hot, I'm feeling flushed, I'm feeling self-conscious, what's the next best thing that we can do to start climbing out of this? And that could be in a maths problem, it could be in a scientific experiment when all things go wrong, it could be in outdoor education. But one of my many faults is I like to jump in and I like to fix it. And I think my caring nature doesn't like to see people struggle. But over the last probably 5 or 6 years of teaching, I've started to wait an awkwardly long period of time before I jump in and help students because it's hard to see them struggle, isn't it? But we're actually doing them a disservice if we're providing all of our answers.
Absolutely. I think teachers are wonderful fixers, and we need to delay that fixing, as you've just indicated.